Go ahead. Fire away. Not all at once.
Did you get credit for winning that throwing competition a couple days ago?
Well, we're actually, Pat and I are teammates in that thing, so it's 2-on-2. So yeah, I think we came in second place that day. So, unfortunately, yeah, that's a good. Yeah, he's been carrying it.
What else about Tonyan good? And obviously he's getting a lot of reps with ones. What stands out just about what you've seen for him overall?
Probably the biggest thing is his ability. He came here in the middle of last year, so mentally being able to learn the offense. He's transitioned that now into be able to play fast out of the huddle, and then you get these opportunities to make plays. He's done that. You saw today he had an excellent catch on that. He turned his head and ran a little bit of a corner angle route and made a great snag. And I think there's a lot of trust building right now between him and Pat. He's a smart kid. He does a lot of things the right way. You can tell he's been in this league a little bit, and he has that experience factor to help out these young guys too.
Similar with Tonyan. I mean, he's been here a while and experienced guy. And how much did it help? He was already here.
I think a lot. Very similar is a great example for him. I remember when Bobby was in Green Bay, watching him do some things in Green Bay, and he's an excellent tight end. He does a lot of good things, and so there's a little bit of that savviness that these guys have. They understand what they're doing. Again, Juju's phenomenal at all that stuff. So Bob's done a great job at the tight end spot.
Working closely with Pat, how excited do you find that he is for this year, just considering maybe boosted protection and receivers hopefully getting healthy?
He's really excited. He's motivated in the right way. That's just how he is. It's who he is. But he doesn't want to. We spend a lot of time in OTAs going back to the basics on a lot of stuff. We're graduating now to with these wide receivers, working on that timing, and I think you're seeing a trust element with him, with several guys, and then you'll get to see some of that too with these guys in the preseason. We'll get some people that stand out, get to show what they can do. But every year we probably say the same thing with Pat, but he creates an own edge for him. He wants to be great. He wants to be the best, and he wants to be coached hard. So that's what we try to do.
Not to say he's not always impressive, but you sense he hit a stride today? It seemed like he was working different arm angles, downfield, intermediate, that type of thing.
I really felt like today was one of our as a group, and in particular with Pat, one of our better days with those type of throws. Some downfield stuff where the timing element, it wasn't one of those deals where you're scrambling, throwing the ball away and catching a ball off timing. These were all on timing throws, and then guys were making great catches. So I was really pleased with that.
You understand how hard it is to play the quarterback position.
Yeah.
When you're going through those fundamentals in OTAs, how much of those discussions involve ball placement, accuracy, and how much legs lead to better?
A lot. And so like you go through the mental part of it as a quarterback, just calling the play right. Then you got to get the splits right, help the guys out on that side of the ball. But then the accuracy part is critical. Being able to have guys that are great with the ball, pinpoint accuracy we talk about all the time, be friendly to the wide receivers, and then they got to make the catch. But really from the hips down is one focus that we have. Guys have different type of release points, but we want to focus on that timing, hips down with their feet.
That's graduating from getting that timing down with some of the guys. Hollywood's not here, and he obviously missed a lot of time last year. How do you kind of try to develop that timing and that trust that Pat has with the other guys with Hollywood when he gets back?
Well, it's got to happen quickly when he gets back. I know, Hollywood wants to be out here, and he's not. So to your point, you are missing out on that timing. And so I know he's frustrated from last year, but he came in at the end of the year, helped us out. When he gets back, whenever that is, they got to go full speed and get that down. And I know he's doing everything he can to get back on track. But that timing, man, is so critical, and Hollywood knows that. So he's got to do right now is do everything he can to get back on that field.
We're going to work our way across the topic.
Matt, when you say that about Patrick wanting to be great, he's obviously been that way all the time. How much have you seen that translate into just the burn to win versus necessarily the statistics? They're not unrelated, but I mean, do you feel like when you say that, that's what you mean, the burn to win?
Yeah, that burn to win is at the highest level of probably any player in the NFL. I mean, it's just he's built different that way, and I think when you have that, it goes on to these other players on the team, offense, defense, special teams, to us as coaches. You have that. You want to make sure you're doing everything possible, and then he's a competitor, so every game's going to be close. When you have him on your side, he's going to give you a great chance, that's where he's at. So when we lost that Super Bowl, it was the very next day he's ready to go, and we just know that it's a great high standard that we all have, and Coach Reed's at the top of that. So it's been good.
You say that just too in the day-to-day. How does it show up the most to you? I know there's a zillion ways, but what shows up the most to you when you say
The
that?
mental prep side. So we all see what he does out here, whether it's people video and plays on their phones at practice and training camp, but we see it in practice when it's closed to the public. But what a lot of people don't get to see, even that's in the building, is how he prepares. And when he gets locked in, I think about every during the week from usually a Wednesday to a Saturday, every morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, he has a routine that he follows. And there's an obsession that he has with being perfect at what he does on the mental side. He doesn't take calling a play for granted, getting the formation right. So he wants to be great at that. And when the guys and his teammates and everybody sees that, it kind of goes on to them as well.
Where are your last two in the back?
Coach, obviously it's a game week, first one since the Super Bowl. Do you sense that the guys are pretty excited, and then does that change anything for your practice prep and all that?
No change for the practice prep. The excitement is there. These guys are going against each other every day now for the past couple weeks, so they get to go live, which is number one, phenomenal for them. It gets to become real. You get to see some different looks on defense, and then these guys are all competing for spots. It's a great competition. I mean, even when our guys go out there, no matter whether you're Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, or someone towards the bottom end of the roster working for a spot, it's such an important time for these guys. And so we as coaches want to put them in the best position possible by letting them play fast. If we let them play fast, they can show us what they have. So it'll be fun. And we want to go there and try to do everything to win.
Speaking of the competition, you guys have two veterans at right tackle right now, Jalen and Tonyan.
Yeah.
I guess, A, how are they handling it? And B, how would you evaluate how it's going?
Handling it great. Both true pros. I like what they're doing on tape. Again, Jawan's been here now for a few years, so the mental side of just hearing the cadences and kind of knowing the scheme is great. I love where he's at mentally right now, and he's a competitor. These guys like to compete. It's what they know all their life. And so for both of them to be able to be out there and just compete, I think they're handling it great. So I love where they're at.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you. See you.
Earlier in camp, we asked Dave Tobe who was standing on the special teams, and he brought up your name. I guess, how's that going on your end, and what does it mean to you, something like that?
Yeah, it means a lot for Coach Tobe to come out here and say that about me. Just me dedicated to my grind and the pride that I take in special teams, being out there, being one of the guys that wants to be with the ones and wants to go up against the best competition, right? So for him to say that about me, I truly appreciate him for that. But I would have to say just being a film junkie when it comes to not only defense but special teams as well, so I can learn on how to be the best special teams guy that I can be, right? So yeah, I appreciate him for saying that.
Jeffrey, so how has it been, fifth round pick coming in with Nick Bolton and Neil Schnall? What do you kind of learn from them, and how they help you kind of elevate your game?
Yeah, I've learned truthfully a lot from those guys, especially Drew in the mix as well, but so much knowledge and so much game because they've been in the game for such a long time and been in Spag's defense for a long time. So for them to spill some knowledge, that things that I can improve on or things that they know that I'm not seeing, I take a lot of you kind of have to take a step back and kind of open your eyes and see the bigger picture and what they're trying to say, right? You got to listen to the message, not the tone. So and I appreciate a lot of those guys for just spilling some of the knowledge and game that they got to.
What does stand out to you about the first couple of weeks?
Yeah, overall it's really a grind. Coach Reed, training camps are no joke, just like people have been saying. So, but you really got to love it to be here. But overall, I think just the physicality that this team got, the guys especially on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball, we're going to be really good this season. So, it's definitely been a grind.
What about just learning the defense? Like what kind of process and study habits do you implement to try and get up to speed there?
Yeah, so if we have a heavy install at night, I like to go back home or go back to the dorm room, I should say, and and study that for about 30 minutes to an hour, kind of just going over my notes. But I take a lot of pride in taking good notes in the film room when coaches are saying corrections, or if he's coaching up another guy on a different technique, then I'm still going to take those notes so I can be the guy that can learn from his example, right? But then as well as being one of the first guys out here when it comes to practice. That's something I've been doing since my freshman year of college. Just always being a guy who just comes out here and working on my craft, whether that's striking blocks, dropping his zone coverage. But then when it comes to learning the playbook, that's also coming out here. Okay, I got a call sheet. What calls are we going to run against this certain formations? Right here, just going through the calls in my head and just getting myself mentally right before practice starts.
Jeffrey, it seemed like Spags was a big fan of yours and kind of maybe wanted them to move up and get you. At least talk to you about that and maybe what you did in the pre-out process to kind of catch his eye.
Yeah, and I really haven't talked too much about that when it came to like moving up to get me, but when a team does move up to get you, it means that they you're higher on their board, or they got a lot of confidence in you and what you could do for their team. So right when I seen that they traded the pick, it means a lot because you're trading either future picks or you're trading picks within that current draft. So but no, I really haven't got to him on that. So.
Defense-wise, what is Spags challenging you role-wise? Where does he see you at?
Really trying to cross-train, so when it comes to a situation where he can get me in at either position, I feel like I've been doing a great job of that as well. Kind of knowing the fact that I'm learning two positions, and now that I'm going to be able to later on in my career learn the back end and learn the full front, right? So I feel like it's going to be a good job and it's going to help me in the long end, but really haven't got too much into second team, third team, or mixing it with the first team. That's not really what I'm worried about right now. Really just worried on fully learning the playbook and being confident enough that the coaches can put me out there with whoever.
Now that you've had some time in defense and everything, how do you feel like what Spags asks of the linebacker really fits your skill set and kind of resonates with what you're best at?
Yeah, first off, it's going to start with communication. You got to be a communicating linebacker in this defense, and that's something I truthfully like. One of the main things that I take a lot of pride in is being a communicator. Even in my college tape, or my college coaches will say that he's always a communicator. He knows what's going on. He knows what the offense is going to do, right? So now I have to get to the point where I can gain enough confidence in the defense. Okay, now let me start learning the offense a little bit and call out what they're going to do, right? But then communication, but then also being a versatile linebacker. You got to be able to cover and run in this defense and this league, but then you also got to be able to stop the run. So I take a lot of pride in being physical, but then also being a linebacker that you can maybe on third down you can match me up, or you can match me up on a star tight end, or you can have me blitz, and rush the quarterback, right? Or you can have me be a quarterback spy, right? But using my versatility, I like to call myself like a Swiss Army knife in a sense of the way.
Here and then there.
Jeffrey, this is going back a little bit to sort of your first weeks, but Nick Bolton watched the rookie camp on video. And I just wondered when you first started engaging with him after that, was he already talking to you about stuff you even saw there? Or I mean, to what degree did it begin right away with him?
Yeah, it really started off rip. Just like you said, when he watched that tape, it was kind of like, okay, why did you call this? And you could have did this to the front, right? It could have been a small adjustment that I missed, but then that's something that he would have did, right? So now that after I've already watched the tape, now from his corrections, now I can go back and be like, okay, I'm seeing what he's seeing now, right? So little things like that where, it wasn't too much glaring errors, but it was more so just like, okay, you could have did this to the front, or when they motion here, you should bump to this alignment instead of this alignment, right? So just little things like that.
And I know you're just sort of learning it in some ways, but do you feel a certain wavelength with him? Like, did you understand how he thinks and you see it through his eyes a little bit already?
Yeah, for sure. I'm asking him questions all the time, whether that's in the film room or just texting him. On off days, sometimes I know he might get a little bit annoying about me asking him a whole bunch of questions, but that's just me trying to pick his brain. But I feel like we're on the same page. That's my dog, man. I truly appreciate it.
Last one. You said you're a film junkie. When did has that always been the case, and what's that entail?
Yeah, that's always been the case since college. I've always been a guy who, really since high school, really, when I first started playing football my freshman year of high school, I always was like intrigued into watching I'd go to YouTube and I'd type in like NFL film breakdowns or college film breakdowns of people just talking about, the Chiefs are in this shell. Well, they're trying to dial up the defense and know we're running, but it's really complex. But little things like that is where I really got that film itch for just watching film and breaking down tape. But then in college, when I got to the full point where I fully knew the defense like the back of my hand, okay, now I'm studying offenses and okay, what's the quarterback's read on this concept, or what's the running back's tracks on, this type of run, right? And so now that's something that I'm trying to do on the at the elite level or at the professional level, right? So now just really trying to dial in on the full defense, know it like the back of my hand, but then also bump that down to offensively. And then as we head into the season, knowing what the offense is going to do, that we're playing that specific week. Outside of camp meetings, if we're in regular season, I like to spend about no specific time limit, but like a couple hours at home where I'm just sitting there quizzing myself or watching the film over and over again. So,
Awesome.
yep.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Have you heard about the Andy's long drive drill, and what's it like to actually experience it?
I mean, I just heard about it from Trav and Noah kind of just over the past couple of years. But to be in it, like experiencing it, we did a little bit of OTAs and that was cool. We had the pads off, but we get into St. Joe's heat and you get rolling and you're actually out there for, 10 straight plays, you feel it. But you're not going to feel, anything more game-like than that long drive drill.
How would you evaluate your camp personally as going so far?
Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. I feel like this year I've just been trying to get better every day. Like kind of the situation I'm in. Like I said, we have so many plays out there. You're not gonna make every play, but you gotta learn quick and not make the same mistake twice. So I think I'm just doing a good job. If I make a full speed mistake, just next play and try to make a play to kind of get the momentum going in a positive way.
You're one of the few guys who's worked with both Aaron and Patrick.
Yeah.
What are the similarities, but also what are the differences that you see between those two guys?
Yeah, I mean, they can each make every single throw imaginable on the field. And it's kind of funny, you just see, Pat getting better every day as well. Like in 7-on or something like that, he's making those hard throws look easy and he's becoming more consistent with them. No, but Pat's incredible. I mean, it's great to be in the huddle and, see his command and see him control at the line and make plays and extend plays, and I'm happy to be a part of that.
What stands out to you about that?
Just he's very confident. He's very positive, reaffirming. Like even if we're just going through little tight end drills on the side or running backs, we're running through the pads or whatever. He's encouraging us. That's just a leader you want. Just constantly making noise and being positive and creating that energy.
Just wondering about your observations about Kelsey and what have you learned about him being here?
Yeah, I mean, I've known Trav for a couple of years, but being here and seeing how he practices, how he prepares, and maintaining his body. I mean, he's probably has the most snaps amongst any tight end in the last 10, 12 years. How far the Chiefs go in the playoffs every year, and obviously the Andy Reid camps. I mean, he's taken a lot of wear and tear, but the way he's able to rejuvenate and get ready for the next day, how much he did the day before, it's pretty incredible. And he practices hard. I mean, I love just learning from him over the years, how I was with in Green Bay was just, you see his film and you don't really get it, and then you get to ask him questions and then you see where his mind's at, and it's awesome. But, learning from him and Noah, they're both just two great players, and learning, what Coach Reid likes, what Pat likes, and then just kind of putting, my little flavor on it as well.
Obviously, this tight end room is talented indeed.
Yeah.
From that perspective, what do you want to show in the preseason game?
Yeah, just that I'm consistent. I'm gonna, make plays. Like I said, I want to get better every day, and then those games are a great opportunity to do so. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep grinding it out. I mean, like I said, this is an Andy Reid camp, and just keep on grinding, make full speed mistakes, and don't make them twice, and then just make plays and keep grinding.
Robert, is there a certain play when you say doesn't make sense to me that you can recall, and I guess how wild was it to say I'm in the NFL, I'm pretty good on my own, and I don't understand what Travis is doing?
Oh, just, I mean, he's been in the same offense for 13 years, so he obviously gets where everyone's going to be at. So that is just another step in, this is my first year in 9 years where I have a new offense. So like me learning not just what I have to do, but also, you know, what was second nature to me that everyone else was doing. Now I got to learn just spatial awareness, where everyone's going to be, why we're doing it, and him anticipating defenses and, you know, knowing what's coming. Not anything specific, but just like constantly learning like how he is, like his pre-snap reads are just very consistent and very on point.
I'm sure you were like, hey, it's going to be fun playing with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Is there an example out here where you're like, oh yeah, this is pretty fun?
Just like I said, like the throws he makes is just, it's incredible. The, you know, the windows he's fitting them in and the anticipation, and like I said, the command in the huddle is just awesome. He's super confident in there. I mean, this is year 9 for him as well. So again, like 9 years in this offense and doing it the way he's doing it, commanding it, MVP type caliber, Super Bowl champion. So yeah, I'm pumped for that.
Being in the league for 9 years, what made Kansas City the right place for you for the next step?
I just wanted to be in a, you know, a functional spot to give me an opportunity to, you know, play my game. And you know, they brought me in the last bit of the season last year, you know, kind of battling something with injury last year, but now I'm fully healthy and they wanted me to come back, and they were very eager, like early on in free agency. So I was just excited to take the opportunity, learn from, you know, Trav and Noah, and this offense is incredible. You get the tight ends involved, you're pushing the ball down the field, you know, great run scheme. So I'm excited to be a part of it, and, you know, a Super Bowl opportunity every year.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Go for Mike. Mike, you had like the longest scoop and score a couple years ago when you were here with the Chiefs. I think it was like 97 yards. How do you approach creating turnovers?
Just being in the right place, the right time, hitting on my keys, and just trying to make plays, be around the ball as much as possible. That's kind of make a living for how I made a living for being in the league, just being around the ball. So that's what I plan on doing this year.
Like maybe a little bit similar answer, but the interception today, was that kind of what fits that description, or what did you see on that?
Yeah, tips and overthrows, kind of read my keys, and seeing Pat load up, and I kind of expected overthrown ball, which it did, and I just caught it, had to come up with it, so good play.
What made you excited to return to the Chiefs after the year, right?
I'm sorry,
What made you excited to return to the Chiefs?
I mean, look at the organization. Anybody be excited to play for this organization, so anytime I get a chance to play for here, I loved it. My 1 year I was here. Sadly enough, I had to go away. I went away, but glad to be back. And like I said, it's a big thing being part of the Chiefs. So I love being here.
How impressed have you been with the younger safeties in the room?
I'm sorry, what you say?
How impressed have you been with the younger?
Oh, we're really good. I didn't play with Jayden last year, but just coming in the room, seeing him in person, he's going to be a hell of a player. Young guys like the rookies, Glenn Miller been stepping up pretty well, playing pretty well. So I'm kind of the older buck in the room now, but I feel like everybody's coming along pretty well, communication and everything, and we just coming along, and it's gonna be a great safety group right here.
Mike, what's it like having that house draft?
How does that affect LeBron's legacy?
What's that?
Coach House, he's a great guy. I had him. He's my defense coordinator in Kentucky in college, so we had good history. That was one of my favorite coaches I ever had, any level. So him being part of us, being my safety coach, I mean, it's amazing. I can't ask for anybody else. So he's doing really well. I learned a lot from him. Still learning from him. So it's a great guy to have in our room.
Mike, because you came back the second time, do you appreciate the long drive drill more, or do you just dread it more because you know what it's like?
I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I feel like the second time around, you kind of know what to expect. So it's not. I won't say it's not as hard because it's gonna be hard, but you kind of know what to expect. So it's not as challenging, I guess, but it's still tough.
All right, we'll do 3 more questions.
Like you mentioned, being the old guy in the room, last last time you were here, Justin was here. How different is the room a little bit? And, you know, you probably have some new faces, but how much are you taking a leadership role in that room?
Yeah, I mean, Jay Reed was that guy. You know, communication, everything, vocal leadership, leading by example. Definitely miss him, but I'm trying to take on that role now, wherever they may be, trying to take on a leadership role. So, you know, I feel like everybody can be a leader in that room, but being an older guy, being a vet, try to take on that role. So help out the young guys as much as possible. Man, they call me everything. Old head, Unc, OG, everything. I'm like, damn, I'm not even 30 yet.
Well, like a game week, you know, taking on the Cardinals, are the guys excited to kind of get out there and play a game and all that?
Oh, yeah. It's always good to play against other guys. You know, we don't have joint practice here, so definitely feel like everybody's kind of itching to play against another team and getting that real live action, so it'll be fun.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.